hip-hop started from the slums of the Bronx, New York. I fell in love with breakbeats, the techniques, b-boying, MCing, crushing whoever was in front of you. It was groovy. You knew how it was. It's true, it's hip-hop. It's only one source to get it. It's I Do It For Hip Hop Podcast. Subscribe, Google Play, iTunes, and DJ Bugsy 215 SoundCloud. It's all about the hip-hop. Keep it hip-hop. I would like to welcome my man Jelani from Call NYC, man. It's been a long time coming, man. I really appreciate you taking out the time to be on this podcast. We're going to get into some topics, man. We already know what's going on in this country. And you are a pioneer, a guy that's trying to shape, young leaders, but also shape, the crimes and the things that's going on in our community. So, like I said, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. But I want to start off with, what is the mission of Call NYC? Let's start off with that.
We want to make sure that everybody has access to legal representation, no matter what they look like, no matter how much money they have. So many times people get arrested and don't have access to legal representation when they need it most.
Okay.
But you have people that live in wealthier neighborhoods and the affluent that have access to a lawyer on retainer. And you see those people get away scot-free and end up, receiving a slap on the wrist. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, people in our communities are doing years. We have a crisis in our country already with our system, with disproportionate sentencing. So that's what we're really trying to combat.
Okay. So does that kind of like fall in the same lines of what Meek Mill is doing as far as prison reform, even though he might be doing it on a bigger scale?
You know what? We're all working within the same ecosystem. Shout out to Meek and what he's doing. It's an inspiration. When I heard What's Free Pump, man, that was a soundtrack to some of the work that we do. And you can already see what the hoodie says.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like all the artists right now that are using their platforms to really say something about these issues, that means a lot to me, because honestly, if you see how many of our young people go to your concerts that pour into the culture and all of that, that's where your money's coming from.
Facts.
It's time for you to check in, because they beating our heads out here in the streets. So if you can go and buy another Lambo and go and get another chain and know that came off the back of another young person that you are not helping, I gotta question you. So salute to the artists that are actually using their platforms to go and make some change. Time's up for the flashy jewelry and all of that if you're not in our communities helping, because then you're a part of the problem also.
I totally agree with that. Now, I do want to get a little bit into, what's been going on lately across the country with these protests and your feelings on the protests, how they're going about it, but also us kind of like hitting our own communities and taking from Black businesses. What is your feelings on that? Even though we are frustrated, even though we're angry, even though we know we want to go toe to toe with this marginalization, this franchising, I want to know from you, what's your feelings on hitting Black businesses? And even though we can't identify with them all the time, but we know some of these neighborhoods is definitely all Black businesses. So I want your feelings on that.
And you got to understand, when I'm speaking, I have to speak as the founder of a legal service organization that works with 6 public defender entities across the country that defends people's rights.
Okay.
So I honestly believe that the right to peacefully protest must be protected.
Okay.
When it comes to businesses within our communities, we don't have the backings. Do you know what it takes to even get a small business loan as a Black man or as a Black woman, as an entrepreneur? It is hard. People put up their mortgages, put up everything to try and open a business.
Absolutely.
So going to take from that business is defeating the purpose of how we're trying to build our communities.
Okay.
It's not a Best Buy that is backed by, a bunch of other places that has an insurance. It's not a chain store that's known for, oppressing the communities and that has insurance. It's not the communities that won't even let us in. We got to stop damaging our communities, because we got to be the ones to rebuild it. They're not going to give us no money to rebuild it. Okay. And then you got to understand that even when it comes to protests, notice how they structure policing. They put the police up so that they will navigate you to your community. They will guard, make sure that everybody's not going to the high net worth zip codes. They'll make it got everybody protected so that you're making that left, and somehow the protest ends up in the hood. Somehow it ends up in the neighborhood that is being disproportionately policed. Somehow it ends up, there.
Okay.
So then we are set to go and damage our businesses because we're getting brutalized in our streets. We're fighting these wars in our communities. Meanwhile, you have, the Toby uptown that is, living his best life and has no idea that that's happening. So we got to make sure that when it comes to protesting, that we are not defeating the purpose by damaging our communities that are already damaged and marginalized by so much. We have to keep focused. The enemy are the billionaires. Those are the looters. Those are the best robbers in the world. The chain stores, everybody, those are the ones that are robbing us. But as I say, the right to peacefully protest must be protected.
Right.
And that's what I stand behind is peaceful protesting.
Okay. And another thing that I've seen in the Black community that they'll say, well, what about Black on Black crime? Why do we get so angry? Why do we get so upset about when a cop does it? But when our own brothers do it, we don't get as upset. What do you say to that?
You don't understand the plight that happens within Black on Black community, Black on Black crime.
Right.
So it's a sad thing. If I put someone in a community, I'm going to take away their resources. I'm going to take away, the means or the dream or belief that you can do more. Right. And I'm going to compact you around with a bunch of other people that are dealing with the same issue. And then I'm going to give scraps around. Right. Survival of the fittest is a human mentality.
Okay. Thanks.
Survival of the fittest is a human mentality. There's so many things that are happening with our communities that if we had the proper resources that other communities had, I don't believe Black on Black crime would exist.
I agree with that.
If we made sure that we had the resources, the mental health, when Billy has a problem, Billy gets a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, the young man that lives in our communities whose mother works 2 jobs and she's not home, and he's dealing with violence in his community, and then he doesn't know the police aren't going to defend him, so he has to defend himself. And, the best way he knows how to defend himself against a bunch of other people is a weapon, which seems logical.
Right.
Now that young man's carrying a gun. But that's the story of a bunch of young men within our communities.
Right.
However, if we had the proper interventions, the proper resources, maybe this wouldn't happen. It's like a bad science experiment, and then we label it Black on Black crime. We're not looking at the cause of the crime.
Right.
Black on Black crime, all these things, they're a sickness. That's what it is. It's a sickness. We have to target the pain that's behind that. We're not getting to the real problems. We're just ready to ship people off to jail. Half of the people in our jails have mental illnesses. But we use our facilities as, mental infirmaries. I don't even want to go there, but it's so many different problems that compact it that if you want to say Black on Black crime, you're not really looking at the issue.
Okay. Now, Louis Farrakhan has always been the leader that says that we have to help ourselves. We continue to always look for the white man for the handout. What do you say to that? Because to a certain extent, I agree. And I think that it will help us better in the future if we had that type of mindset.
See, I do believe that we have to help ourselves because nobody else is going to help us. And that does take, being able to give the same critiques that we can give to the outside folks. We have to be able to give that loving critique to our communities.
That's true.
Tell that young brother pull his pants up when you see him.
Right.
If they out here fighting on the corner, let them know, yo, look, that's the same way from a distance. The cop ain't gonna see that. He's shooting at everybody and then picking up the remains. Right. That's some of the things that we can do to make sure that we're not perpetuating the things that exist.
Okay.
We can make sure that we are being that support system for our communities because they're lost. So we have to pay more attention and more love within our communities. But we cannot blindside the fact or blame it all on Black people and just see that, Black people just need to do better. And I was so upset to see some politicians, you hear them going off outside. My hotline is blowing up right now. We're working
nonstop.
Yes, yeah, man. But if you saw some politicians yelling at black folks, but they're not understanding this is the pain that these other people cause,
Right.
and also perpetuating the issue.
Right.
There's some politicians that I have problems with because they choose to stand next to the oppressor in these times. You have to choose a side.
Right.
So if folks are condoning this violence, but yet we're going to them as, hey, I'm going to say like our mayor in our city,
right.
He's not good in our hoods. He's not good in our communities.
Right.
Until he's able to condemn this policing, he's not good in our communities. And any politician of color that stands next to that person, you get what I'm saying?
It's a problem as well.
They're a problem as well. So, you know, we can go and help ourselves. We have to go and help ourselves, but also the people that can be the intermediaries need to go and tell these folks, go tell Jim, go tell Bill, go tell Andrew, yo, look, y'all need to listen. Okay, it's a two-way street. We have to help ourselves, but also people have to be able to meet us halfway. And we can't sell our community short and just go say, oh, that's their issue. Because when we say that, then people give validity to the fact that it's our issue and we need to clean it up and it's all about us. It's not all about us. I think we're doing more to do our part than we have in the past because we see what the fuck is going on. We need to start giving our community more credit for some of the amazing blackness and the black unity I see developing that we haven't seen in the 90s. I'm 28 now.
Right.
So I was able to see a lot of the stuff growing up as a youngin' and not understanding. That also gave me the heart that I have because I grew up as a 90s baby. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So like, so I feel a different way. But like now to see all this black love, and I met some young brothers the other day that had so much love. I was like, yo, that's dope. I wish I had that much love when I was younger.
Right.
And I'm seeing a change. So we doing some of it, but other folks got to do their part too. I
agree with that. And speaking of the 90s, and you look at LL when he dropped the song Illegal Search, and then he dropped the brand new freestyle, you know, knee in my neck to, you know.
For 400 years, you had your knees on our necks. A garden of evil with no seeds of respect. In America's mirror, all she sees is regret. Instead of letting blood live, they begging for bloodletting.
You know, today, what is your thoughts? And that's why he's in my top 5 of all time. How he continues to be an anchor for hip hop and a voice for hip hop and a voice for the voiceless. LL Cool J. What's your thoughts on his new freestyle?
Man, it's so funny. I had to watch that joint a couple times.
Right.
Because LL is like a gentle giant.
Right. You know absolutely.
Where LL can give you that pain any time of the week, but he gonna play it cool. And if you see the way he moves, I'm a hip hop head when it comes to like watching how people maneuver. I don't even know if you remember back in the day when he was dealing with and I could say back in the day now, but a couple years ago when he was doing the label complications and he started dropping some other music that had that type of regret. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
like LL is an anchor for our community because I feel like he's able to take things from a view of being able to integrate but not leave us behind. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good one.
There's a thing about people that integrate and assimilate, and then they leave our communities behind. They don't know what it is once they on that nice Kentucky bluegrass or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? They forget about the concrete.
Yep.
And I respect LL because and me being from Queens and knowing behind the scenes some of the things that he's done in terms of giving to the community and stuff, that is fire. So I feel like again, it just shows that like I bet the people that have worked with him that have never seen him in that light are probably like, oh my God, LL's mad. That always been LL.
Yeah.
That always been LL.
That's a fact.
But now that may make you see that like even the nice black guy that you speak to or the guy that you see on NCIS that can play all these types of roles, he about that life too.
Right. That's facts.
So I respect that. I respect it 100.
Now, 400 years of racism, do you think America will ever look at us with equality and look at us as we are not second-class citizens, we are first-class citizens like our counterparts? Do you think they'll ever look at us in the right way? Will that ever happen?
You know, I'm not going to be a pessimist.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a pessimist. I think that we always have the opportunity to change the conversation.
Most definitely.
And I think that what is our goal?
Right.
I don't want America to look at me as if we're the same, because we're not.
Right.
We hella different.
That's facts.
We built this country for free.
Yep.
You took shit from us and did not give it back. And then imprison people. You owe us.
That's true.
So rather than America looking at us as equals, I want America to look as if they know they have some making up to do.
Right.
In Australia, it's funny, they have that I'm sorry day for the indigenous folks because of what they've done. America can't even give us an I'm sorry. America can't even admit when they wrong. So that's why I said I don't want to be a pessimist, because I know that to get to that point may be something that may not happen. But for America to actually realize, oh shit, we fucked up.
Right.
I think that may be the start of something. And to be completely honest, I think we're in that phase right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I never seen like the stuff that I'm seeing on the news and in social media. It's some of it's mind blowing, but some of it's refreshing actually.
Yep.
To see it.
Yep. It's funny because I'm not a person to really promote chaos. Right. I'm not a person. Imagine, you know what we do every day. We make sure that we are helping people protect their rights. Right. So make sure somebody doesn't have to be in a situation like this is important to us. But you can't have change without some type of noise being made.
That's facts.
In other countries around the world, revolutions have started just like this.
Right.
And I think that it's needed in order for us to actually come to a place to recognize that there's a problem. There needs to be some civil unrest.
Right.
There needs to be this discomfort.
We need to have, discomfort. And then once we get to that place, like you said, we need to have a conversation and try to figure out what our differences are. And once we get to that place, then we can figure out how we can make this country better. And I do believe that a lot of these laws of the land need to be changed. And I don't know how that's going to happen, but that's something that needs to happen.
I will tell you something, right? I know, and I can't speak for the country, but right now, I think that in our city, if and George Floyd didn't die here.
Right.
This is about George Floyd. Don't get me wrong. This is about George Floyd.
Right.
However, there's so many other people. Enough is enough. Like that George Floyd is the name that we remember because it's happened so recently, but also I'm going to lose breath if I say the other names that exist.
Exactly.
And we will, I want to make sure that we take a moment of silence for them every time we do functions and stuff like that, because it's important to remember all of those names.
Yeah, all those hashtags, another hashtag.
So if in our city, if our mayor was able to say, I am going to condemn police brutality, any officer that is involved with police brutality will be dealt with at the fullest extent, will be prosecuted at the fullest extent of the law, the same way as us civilians are. I believe that shows a good first step.
I do too. And I believe that it should be considered a hate crime. So whatever that holds, that's what you should get. First degree, whatever. That's what I believe that as well. That should be added along with the other offenses.
Yep. That's my thing. Like, if the government, if this country wants to show us that they mean something, the same way this man got heated about Twitter correcting him and he was ready to file an executive. If an executive order is that easy, you need to show up for this community.
Absolutely.
You need to show up for the Black community. You need to show up for the brown community. You need to show up for these folks that are being marginalized.
Facts.
With that executive order. If not, may the right to peacefully protest be protected.
One last question, and then we're going to go into another zone. I want to know, do you feel like the pandemic has changed, like ever since George Floyd, the conversation, the headlines about the pandemic has lessened? No one's talking about it. No one's talking about social distancing. I've seen a lot of people without masks. What do you think? Do you think that's playing right in the eyes of the government and how they wanted it to go? And then they even got agents looting and blaming it on black people, and they treating them like employees, but they treating blacks like looters. So what's your thoughts on that?
Can I be honest, man? And this is I'm honest always, so I don't even gotta ask for permission.
Right.
Like, fuck, man. It's a really messed up thing if this was some type of conspiracy, because it's the perfect one. Because COVID was already killing our community at an
alarming rate.
At an alarming rate, a percentage that was almost double what it was doing to other communities.
Mm-hmm.
And then you murder somebody from our communities, leave us heartbroken, leave us in our homes, and then tell us that we can't do shit. Obviously, that's literally mimicking slavery all over again. I'm gonna lynch someone, right? I'm gonna lynch someone, and then I'm gonna tell you that you can't do nothing about it. And also, I'm gonna tell you when you can leave and what you can do. Yes, COVID was for safety. COVID is for safety. But also, if we don't go and we don't say something, the next time I don't want to be scared stepping outside when this is over, because it's been open season on black people since COVID started.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a perfect way to go and make this shit happen. I would be completely honest. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be watching the numbers after we are able to come back into a place where protests aren't every day.
Right.
To see if COVID cases are going to spike, because also I know in our city alone, we have officers that have had COVID and they're not wearing PPE.
Wow.
So also, with that being said, I've been getting my CMOS together. I've been
oh yeah, me too. I got turmeric. I got all that. I got turmeric, I got ginger. I take my vitamins every day. I eat salads all the time, bro.
That's my thing. Like, I'm gonna start doing I work out every morning, but I'm gonna start trying to do 2 a day because I've been out here within the community also.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm promoting that for anybody that sees this, and if you're out in the communities also, make sure in the morning you're getting your health game together, your immune system right.
That's right. Most definitely. All right, but before we go, bro, I want you to tell me your top 5 MCs of all time.
Woo! Damn. Top 5
question,
MCs
man.
of all time.
Dead or alive? Dead or alive, bro.
Sheesh. Okay. All right. Now, I'm about to say this because I know that this is going to resurface again somewhere. This is in no particular order.
Yeah, you ain't got to give me an order, just a 5. You don't know order.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Queens,
I'm
a big 50 fan.
Okay, that's cool. He dope.
Yeah. That old school 50 was my.
Yeah, that was that work. Power of a dollar. All that, man.
Power of a dollar. Okay, guess who's back? The mixtapes in the morning would get me to school. Okay, I mean, like you you go out in the morning, like that was dope.
Yeah, most definitely.
Biggie is.
You see my shirt.
Okay.
All day, bro, all day.
I had to have my cheese eggs and my Welch's grape.
Absolutely.
On steak. So Biggie is always a classic. Jay.
Yeah, most definitely.
Jay, what he does with words and the way that he's able to put them joints together, is ridiculous.
Yes, most definitely. 2 more.
Damn, this ain't fair.
Shit.
This ain't fair. All right. because he knows how to tell the illest story
Mm-hmm.
in a song and make you think about some shit.
Right.
Jada.
Okay.
Jada can make you think about
Oh
some
yeah.
shit.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
That new album was fire.
Most definitely. Shout out to Jada, man. The raspy voice, most definitely.
Go about to do that, Jada. My bad.
One more.
Damn. I want to leave this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because
Mm-hmm.
only because I heard an artist talk about this artist and that had me bugged out. And I had to go back and listen to so much of this artist's music that I was like, nah, that man must be, he must have not listened to him in a minute.
Right.
Lloyd Banks.
Yo, I knew you was gonna say Lloyd when you said the DMX shit. When you said there was an artist that said, I had a feeling it was gonna be Lloyd. Yeah, Lloyd a problem, man.
Lloyd Banks.
Lloyd Banks is a problem. So basically you got 2/3 of G Unit, you know what I'm saying? So
it's the Queens thing, man. It's
the Queens thing, bro.
God damn it.
I'm surprised you ain't say Nas though.
So here's the thing, right? And I was gonna put Nas up, but I had to think about what was my top 5 versus what brought me into like my top 5. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because Nas is if Nas is not 5, he would have been 6.
Right.
But I'm thinking about like there are some songs that like I can go to, and also gotta think about my generation.
That's true.
My generation.
So like, Nas is my generation. So
Nas is your generation. I have my big brother put me onto like Book of Rhymes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My big brother put me onto Illmatic.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
That was the stuff.
So Lloyd and 50 your generation. So
Lloyd and 50 was my generation.
I respect that.
I was born in 92.
Okay. Well, it's your boy DJ Bugsy. This is Door for Hip Hop Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on Google Play, iTunes, DJ Bugsy 215, and follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram, Door for Hip Hop Pod. Man, I appreciate you, bro. I like the work you're doing in the community, man. Keep doing your thing. This is a young brother, man. His eyes is on the prize. Y'all better watch out, man. NYC represent for real.
Yo, you in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to blast this out. Yo, tell Meek Mill to holla at us. We need him out here. Good call. If we're going to be playing this, yo, Meek, I need to talk to you. Meek,
you got to holla at my bro, man.
Let's go.
Good call, NYC, man. Like, again, man, I appreciate you. We're going to take it to IG Live. I got a couple more questions, but I appreciate your time, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right.